This green juice is literally gonna cure me right now. I have been feeling like ass, so I'm like, let me drink something that looks like ass. Just kidding. Let me drink something that is gonna make me feel better. I wanna like, Okay, it's actually really good. It tastes like apple mostly. Apple with a hint of like ginger. Yeah, that's what's spicy, the ginger. Yummy. I don't know, I've been feeling really intense. I've been feeling really stuck and like, I don't know, I literally want to like fuel my body with a bunch of like shit like this, just like feel better, even though realistically I just need to work on my mind. It's like 1:30. I have this for my lunch and a sandwich. Shout out Sprouts. Sprouts is literally the best. I love Sprouts, but I don't know. I just wanted to talk about some things that have been going on with me. So I recently watched a video that was like kind of convinced me to change my mindset a lot, because I feel like as someone who is creative and someone who is very introspective, it can be kind of a bad thing, because when I kind of mess up on a project or just on anything in my life, I kind of have instances where I feel like I didn't do something perfectly. I tend to go really introspective and like dive deep into like what I did wrong. Like I want to be like, oh, okay, point out the mistakes and then fix it. Like I was the type of girl who was like at 12 years old starting to get some mental illness, you know, middle school, and then I was like, let me read every self-help book under the sun and let me apply it and let me try to change and like improve. Literally a self-improvement queen since the age of 12 years old. The only issue with that is that when you try to self-improve so much, then you are basically inherently telling yourself that you're not good enough and you have to constantly try to get better and better and better. I Want to Get Better by the Bleachers. If you know that song, shout out. That's literally my anthem, if that tells you anything that you need to know about me. But yeah, you tell yourself you didn't act the way you wanted to in the situation or whatever it was. So for me, I'm like, let me like get into the cracks of like, why did I do that? Like, you know, and like basically just introspect so badly that I'm like, it becomes very like meticulous and like overdone, and I don't want to do that anymore, as much as it is like comforting almost to do that, because in a way, and basically what I want to talk about is I want to practice more like self-acceptance, like accepting myself for the ways that I am, even in the ways that I'm not like perfect and stuff. So in a way, when you're chasing after like self-improvement and you're trying to self-improve so much and trying to constantly, you know, I want to be better, the song, then you're kind of avoiding confrontation with the fact that you just made a mistake, or you just are not even made a mistake, but you just are who you are. And like, what is so wrong with that? Like, what is so wrong with that person? Like for me, sometimes in social situations, I get secondhand embarrassment after. I'm like, why did I say that? Why did I act like that? And I start to be like, well, next time I'll do X, Y, and Z, or I'll do this beforehand so I have less anxiety or whatever. And like all those things can be helpful tools, but I can also just be like, I'm a little bit quirky in person, and I can just accept that and be like, you know, not everything I say is gonna be like so chic and so cool and so like, you know what I mean? Like it's just gonna be me, and like that's okay. Like that's who I am. And it's a lot easier said than done, because when I have those horrible days where I'm like, you know, I'm a very driven person, so I feel like when I have those days where I'm not getting up out of bed, or I'm doing as little as possible throughout the day, like I'm just doing the bare minimum, then I'm like, okay, how can I do this better tomorrow? How can I be perfect tomorrow? How can I self-improve tomorrow and the next day, and constantly wanting to go on this upslope, and really it's just like gonna be an up and down kind of journey, and you gotta accept those days. To me, it's really hard to accept those days. It's really hard for me to accept when I say something embarrassing, or when I, you know, mess up on a project that I was really passionate about and it didn't like come to fruition how I wanted it. I'm like, okay, I need to, you know, like basically, again, criticize myself in a way, and then like you're criticizing, like I criticize myself in a way where it's like, well, I'm doing it for the sake of improvement, right? I'm like, oh, I'm criticizing myself, but it's for the sake of improvement, so it's not actually tearing myself down. In reality, it's just a constant cycle of me telling myself I'm not good enough, I need to get better. And so basically in this video, she said it was about manifesting, but really it's a self-acceptance kind of practice of like every second you are a different person. Like the second that I started recording this video to now, I'm a different person in a sense, you know? Even you watching this, if you're watching this right now, like you could be a different person from the moment that you clicked on this video. Like maybe you were a person who was eating a bag of chips and now you're a person who's not eating a bag of chips. Like it could literally be that, like, that simple if you want to make sense of it. But realistically, you can change every single second. And it kind of goes into the acceptance part of yourself, where instead of me looking at a situation where I'm like, oh, that was so bad, I need to like constantly like keep living in this situation and think about what I could do differently or what could have been better on my part or what I'm going to do to change. It's like instead of doing that, I can just be like, okay, that was me a second ago, cool, now this is me now, cool, now this is me now, cool. Like constantly just like changing, right? You're just constantly being a new version of yourself. I don't have to live in a situation that I'm like, oh, I hated how that situation was for me. I'm gonna go over it a million times, and then you're just living the same situation forever, you know? No, I don't need to do that. I can be like, that was that situation at that time. This is what situation I'm in now, you know, and then just live. It's kind of like living in the present, but it goes more into like a self-concept thing where for me, how I think about it now is like you're accepting each version of yourself in each given second, and you're also accepting the fact that things can change and you can be a version that you want to be, but without constantly criticizing yourself and chasing self-improvement and, you know, exasperating that feeling of self-doubt because you're just like constantly like, oh, I need to get better, I need to do this better, this different, like this, like what I'm doing is not good enough. Like it can just be good enough for that moment. Next moment something else can be good enough, next moment. And it's like radical self-acceptance, right? You gotta just accept what you are. Like a good example for me is I feel like my weight fluctuates so much. Like literally last week I weighed 5 pounds less than I do this week, and next week I might weigh, you know, 5-10 pounds less or more. And to me, I'm not like, hello, but to me, I'm like, okay, I could literally sit here and be like, oh my god, my body looks like this, and then next week I'm like, oh, my body looks like this, I look so tea, I look so not tea, whatever. But realistically in my head, I know that my body's just gonna keep changing. Like when I look a certain way or I have extra weight in certain areas, I'm like, okay, let me just accept that for now because my body's gonna change in like 2 seconds. Like it's really not that big of a deal. Or when I'm really thin and then I'm like, you know, I need to get some meat on my bones, then I'm like, you know what, my body's gonna change in 2 seconds. I really don't gotta worry about that. I really don't have to like change every single thing in my life and my reality to like try to, you know, look different. I can just accept the fact that right now this is where I am, and in a few seconds or a few weeks I'll look like this. Like there's not really anything crazy about it. And as a creative, how I was thinking of, you know, this, you hear the thing a lot, and I don't even know where I heard this, but I heard, you know, the saying like be a goldfish or be a sponge, like take in as much information as you can as like being a sponge, or like when you're being a goldfish, like forget the mistakes that happen and kind of continue on, forget the failures, like drop it, let go of the failures. It's really not, you know, let go of the failures and continue. And I also heard this guy who I follow on TikTok say something like, if you're reaching for validation, right? Which is a way of like being obsessed with self-improvement, is kind of a way for trying to reach for like self-validation. But like if you're constantly reaching for instead of constantly reaching for validation in like the outside world, like specific validation from friends, like someone telling you good job, or like, you know, a specific award or something, whatever you're chasing, like a specific thing in your reality to be like change and like basically give you that stamp of approval, like you did it, good job. If you're reaching for that constantly, you're not gonna get it. You're gonna be like, or if you do get it, here's the funny thing, if you do get it, you're just gonna reach for something else and you're never gonna feel validated. You're just gonna go in a fucking cycle. Like the same thing with the self-improvement thing, you're just going in a cycle of constantly saying, I'm not good enough, this has to be how it is, and this is when I'm good enough, and putting yourself in like a weird like a weird box that like you just don't have to do. Like you can be a sponge, you can be water, you can just go with the flow, you can like let it all go. And what he was saying was, instead of reaching for validation, and he's a creative, right? So he's saying, instead of reaching for validation, work on a project, you know? And that's something I try to do. It's like, I want to reach for validation in the sense of I'm like reaching for it in my project, you know, like putting myself into, instead of putting my energy into wanting validation, wanting an award, or wanting some kind of like literally someone to like applaud you, I'm going to take that energy and apply it to applauding myself into working on something. Good job, you're working on this, put your effort into this. Like you gotta tell yourself that. You're like, Put your effort into this instead of looking outside and being like, I'm waiting for someone to tell me that I'm so amazing and perfect and beautiful and that everything that I want is right here in front of me. Like I'm just waiting to like capture it. Like if you know deep down, just like how I was saying about the weight thing, I know my weight's gonna fluctuate. I know I'm gonna get what I want. I know I'm gonna get all my goals that I want, right? If I know that right now, then all I can do is like be in a flow state and like put my energy into working on whatever project I'm working on. This is so fun. This is so cool. I'm putting my efforts into my work. You know what I mean? Like that's what's fun. And that's something that is, again, easier said than done, because you feel like our brains feel like we have to like make sense of everything. At least mine, again, very, very introspective and very like, why are you doing this? Let's plan something out. Let's go like as far as we can with this. Let's go like as internal as we can and get every single detail down to like why you want this or how exactly you're gonna get it, and what you did wrong in this situation and how you can do better, and you know, like write down your whole entire childhood trauma and blah blah blah, and like we're gonna get down to this, we're gonna fix this, we're gonna flip it, no, we need to just, you know, me talking to myself right now in the car, I need to just relax, let things flow, and just know that from one second to the next you are a completely different person. So imagine what kind of person you could be in, you know, 12 seconds, 12,000 seconds, 12 million seconds, right? Weeks, months, years. Like you can easily, if from one second to the next you are a different person, then that means that in a bunch of fucking seconds you're gonna be a completely fucking different person. You could be whoever the fuck you want to be, but you have to let go and you have to let it flow, instead of doing this like very meticulous, what's the word I'm looking for, where you just like, you're going at it over and over again. Instead of doing that, you can just be in the flow state, be okay, be accepting, be like, hey, I didn't do that, like, great, okay, and now I'm a different person from that. Oh, I changed every minute. Oh my god, I changed. Me right now recording this in my car versus me going home and taking a shower, like, we changed. I'm changed. I'm a different person. Now I have this idea. Now I have this idea. Now I'm gonna do this. Now I'm gonna be in the flow. And that's kind of a good rule of thumb also for a creative person, because you're like, if you're working on something and you put yourself in a box of like, hey, this is what this project is gonna be. X, Y, Z, done. I'm doing it perfectly. I'm completing it exactly to my plan. Literally talk to any creative person, they don't do that. They usually go in with some sort of idea and then they change it with the way that they're in the flow. Their thoughts are changing every second. The project is changing every second they are changing. And you have to think about your life like that. Like your life is that project. You're going in with some sort of idea. I don't know. I like to say shooting darts at like a wall that has no, like shooting darts into a dark room. You're shooting darts into a dark room. You have no idea where they're going to land. You just know, hey, I'm going to go in this direction. I'm going to go in this direction. This is what I want to do. Like literally the most basic understanding of a direction of what you want to do. Same thing with if you're doing a painting or an art project or whatever. You're like, okay, this is what I kind of want to do. I kind of want to use this color. I kind of want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then as you go, you know, the steps start to align, the things start to align for you. And you're like, hey, this is what I'm going to do next. This is what I feel. This is what feels right. This is what feels good. And, you know, your thought about the project might not be exactly what you thought about the project 2 seconds ago. So, anyways, that's my little ramble. I have been thinking a lot about how I just want to be, like, in the flow and, like, let go, and it's so hard. But then part of me is like, it's not hard. I'm chill. Maybe a second ago I thought it was hard, but now I think it's chill. Now I think it's easy. Now I'm just, like, so in the flow. I'm, like, so chill. But yeah, that's what I'm practicing. How to apply this? I mean, it's all in your mind, right? So, I don't know. To me, an idea that came to mind is, like, instead of journaling as, like, going over my day and like, again, living through my day, like, oh, I'm living through my day, I'm gonna journal. I'll journal about my day, but I'll look at it through the lens of who I am at the end of the day instead of who I am going through that situation. You know, I might be like, hey, I had a horrible fucking day, blah blah blah. I might have had a horrible day, right? And then at the end of the day I had a little sweet treat and now I'm in a great mood. Now I'm journaling about my day and I'm like, you know, I don't feel really shitty about my day anymore because I had a fucking sweet treat at the end of the day and now I feel great. So I'm gonna journal about my day and be like, yeah, some things I was feeling earlier, don't know who that girl is, but she was feeling some things earlier, recognize, accept it. Now I'm feeling great, now I'm feeling amazing, and I'm having space for my next second self, myself in the next second, yeah, to feel whatever the fuck she wants to feel, you know what I mean? Like, and we're just gonna continue moving on, and that's just life, like, that's just how it is. Like, I don't want to be attached to anymore. If you know that girl, Alyssa Liu, she said connect with everything, but don't attach yourself to everything. I think that's what it was. And it took me a long time, not a long time, it took me a while to like mull that over and like think about it. Like, what do you mean connect to everything but don't attach yourself? Because I think about the relationships in my life, or I think about, you know, the self-identity that I've had since I was a little girl, and I'm like, I am connected to it and I'm attached to it. What we want to do, I feel like, is through situations, connect with people, connect with art, connect with the world, but don't attach yourself to something specific. Basically, don't put yourself in a box, don't hold yourself down to anything specific. You can connect with it, you can feel it, you can feel like, oh, I had a horrible day, but I'm not attaching myself to the version of me who had a horrible day and is always having a horrible day and a horrible life. I don't know, it's so funny, it's so like hard to kind of say exactly what I'm thinking, but it makes sense the more I talk about it. So this is helping because I'm just talking for real. Anyways, I am going to eat my sandwich and probably watch a YouTube video and drink this green juice. So shout out Press, it's actually really good. And there's actually a Press in this little center that I parked at. I got this from Sprouts, but I parked in like this little center, and there's a Press, and I kind of, maybe for dessert, like dessert after lunch, fuck it, might get like a little yogurt thing, if you know what I'm talking about. They're so good. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna sign off now, but thanks for listening to me ramble, and yeah, bye.